Hello, everyone. I have another book from Miss Powell's class. This is Miss Warhite. This one is called Please, Please the Bees, and it's by Gerald Kelly. Written by Gerald Kelly. He's the author, and I most likely is the illustrator because I don't see another title there. The bees are on strike. Let's see what's going to happen in this book. Please, Please the Bees. There's our title page by Gerald Kelly. Benedict was a creature of habit. He liked to do the same thing every day. Every morning he woke up at the same time. Every morning he stretched, he scratched, he yawned a great yawn. Every morning the bees delivered 3 jars of honey. 1, 2, 3. Benedict ate the same breakfast he'd eaten since he was just a fuzzy cub. Toast with honey and tea with extra honey. Eating his breakfast. Next came his daily routine. Practicing. Look, he's practicing his music. Perfecting his honey cake recipe, knitting, and running errands. At night, he'd read, then have one last cup of honey tea before bed. Life was sweet. Until one morning. One morning, things weren't the same. In fact, something terribly unsame had happened. Looks like they're empty. On strike. Looks a bee, and he's carrying a poster that says, on strike. There was no more honey. The bees had gone on strike. On strike means they've quit working for a while. Benedict's breakfast wasn't the same without honey. Without his honey tea, he couldn't knit. Practice was dreadful. He's trying to play his violin. He didn't even bother with errands. Benedict became deeply discouraged. Discouraged means kind of sad. Just then he heard someone say, "Hey, you in the fur coat." It was a very small bee with a remarkably loud voice. "We need to talk," said the bee. "Talk, huh," grumbled Benedict. "I let you all live in my yard. All I ask is for a few jars of honey. You could be grateful, not go on strike." Here's a picture of the bee. "A few jars," said the bee. "Buddy, we deliver 3 jars of honey to you every day, every month, every year. Do the math, Einstein." Einstein was a famous scientist. "The hive is a wreck," the bee continued. "It's all we can do to keep the walls from falling in. The roof leaks, the wind blows through the cracks. The last 3 queens up and quit on us because of lousy working conditions. Bees are working too hard." The bee showed Benedict the garden. "Look at the bee." "Look," the bee said, "weeds everywhere. We have to fly miles away just to find enough flowers to make our honey. So we voted to strike." "You're taking us for granted," the bee declared. "You want honey? Things need to change. It's up to you, bear." And with that, the very small bee flew away. The thought of losing his honey sent a small chill down Benedict's spine. He had a lot of work. He had a lot to think about. "Maybe I've been too selfish," Benedict said to himself. "I never thought about what the bees need. But how am I going to make this right?" So he did some research. He's studying at his computer. Maybe he's studying about bees. He did a little shopping. Looks like he's getting some new things for his yard. He's trimming up bushes, fixing the beehive nest. The bees, and look at the flowers. And he did a lot of work. He's working on his yard. Benedict even learned how to harvest honey. I suppose it's a bit rude expecting them to do it all by themselves, he thought. Finally, he was ready to show the bees all the work he'd done. What would they think? He held his breath as he waited. Then he heard the remarkable loud voices of very small bees. This looks like a house he's built for them. And look at all the bees coming in. Look at all the bees flying in. Drop the signs, girl. It's time to get back to work. They're dropping their on strike posters. These days, Benedict is still a creature of habit. He still has his daily routine, but he doesn't take the honey for granted anymore. He knows his life is sweet, but now it's even sweeter. Look at that with that teacup. For everyone. Isn't that a lovely picture? Everyone's happy. Bees do work very hard. I've been reading about bees, boys and girls, for this past Earth Day. And I have a lot of bees in my yard with all the pretty flowers, and they're pollinating. So that's the story of our book, Please Please the Bees by Gerald Kelly.